but now I'm drinking tea. So I have my tea breaks, which Sarah and Quinn have helped me like a little bit with the world of tea since I'm new to it. But I find that like nice to like get up. It's kind of like a ritual to make tea. And then my other break, I'm sure Chris can relate to this, is actually piano, which is kind of funny because it's like my job at work is to be creative and like use my creative energy. And using creative energy can be like tiring, I think, and exhausting, or at least you can use it up quickly. So it's kind of ironic that like I'll transition from my editing to my piano because it's kind of same, it's using the same brain muscles, but I find it's very like therapeutic to play the piano, and it always takes my mind off things.
That is awesome. All right, so it looks like the live just started while you were in the middle of that, Connor, but I think that got across. We are a little bit late getting to you this morning. We are testing out a new way of doing our weekly live streams that will help us be a little bit more consistent and provide higher quality video and audio to you. So we're super excited for this, but if you notice any tech glitches just as we're live today, please drop a comment below, let us know what's up, and we are looking forward to making even more improvements for the future. Quinn, would you like to let everybody know the topic again since it got cut off?
Of course. Today's topic is the best way that you take a break during the day when you're feeling mentally exhausted, physically tired. How do you go and take a break that really helps you reset yourself? And I know that Connor was just kind of halfway through his when we went live.
Yeah, I said, yeah, I'll just say it quickly. I said tea breaks, so getting up and making tea, I find very therapeutic, and piano or just music. So like either playing the piano or like writing something, or sometimes even listening to music. I think music's like a good refresh, restart button.
That makes a lot of sense.
That's a really good break. I think that taking a break from screens is something people talk about a lot, but it's increasingly hard to implement, especially when, you know, you're working from home. So you're on screens for the vast majority of the day, even for things like meetings, where in a normal office, you'd be off screens for that time. But for us, that's the most important time to be in front of a screen. I know that my dog is very good at reminding me when it's time to take a walk outside and take a quick break. So that's definitely a favorite of mine. We've got some really beautiful parks and trails near here that are great to just get out, disconnect from the world, and take a nice walk. I also really like reading books, like actual physical books. I've definitely noticed that doing more reading on my breaks actually helps my attention span and ability to focus throughout the day. So that's a kind of cool, unintended, but very beneficial consequence.
That's awesome. I can go. My favorite way to take a break is definitely to get up and stretch and then go get like a snack or something. It really kind of just helps me like physically reset for the day from like sitting in the chair for so long. And then getting a snack, I feel like it's just always helpful.
Yes, snacks are life. Question, have any of you ever tried, I've noticed a trend on YouTube, especially since more people have been working from home, with office break workout videos, where it'll be like a 5 to 10 minute HIIT workout or yoga flow that's made for just that kind of break time. Have you guys ever tried that?
I haven't, but I really want to now.
No, that sounds interesting.
Right?
Huh.
Like usually for me, when I'm doing yoga, until like the 15-minute mark, I'm not even really like feeling that stretched out and relaxed yet. Like it takes a while to really get into it. But I mean, anything is better than nothing. So I would think it would still be helpful in some way.
Yeah, I feel like yoga definitely lends itself to like a more long form exercise. It's because it's kind of like meditation.
Yeah. Whereas with a HIIT workout, it's like,
you can just go.
25 jumping jacks, 25 squats, and your heart rate's up.
And you would feel so productive too. You'd be like, not only did I take a break, but I also did a little workout.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you'd be all energized and amped up and feel so good about yourself.
Yeah. I really enjoyed taking productive breaks, which sounds like a total oxymoron.
Yeah.
But like having a break where I'm like, you know, I took a break from work, I'm feeling ready to get back to it, and I switched to laundry. Like I am on top of my life.
Yeah, I've always heard like for people that procrastinate, I don't know if any of us are here procrastinators. I'm really not. But They always say like if you can do something in less than 5 minutes, then just do it like now. Like if you're there, don't think about it like, oh, you have to like turn the laundry over or like you need to clean the dishes in the kitchen. Like just do it now. It's gonna take less than 5 minutes. Don't think about it, just go do it. And that's a good way to like look at breaks. It's like, oh, I need to do this. I'll just do it. Like it'll be quick and it'll give me time away from the screen.
Yeah, something similar to that I have implemented for housework and I'm trying to implement more for work is the one touch rule, which is basically like you should only have to pick something up one time. So like when you're picking up your dirty plate off the table, don't put it on the counter to then put it in the sink to then put it in the dishwasher. Just put it straight in the dishwasher. And that's going to save you 2 touches. Or like when you take off your jacket when you just get home, don't throw it on a couch where eventually you're going to need to move it from the couch to the coat rack and the coat rack to the coat closet. Just put it where it goes outright. And I think that can be true for work too. So you don't get to that point where you have like 30 tabs open and you can't figure out which one is making that darn noise. Like, so you're just like, okay, in this tab, I'm going to complete this task and then I will move on to the next tab. So you're not coming back to it like, oh yeah, I was going to do that.
Yeah, that's a really good system.
That's a great rule. Like I always make a habit of taking my shoes off in my bedroom, not in the living room. Because like I know they'll just sit there in front of the door if I do that. And like I know people will step on them on the way out and scuff my shoes. So
yep. And you always think, oh, that way I'll always remember where they are. They're right there when I leave. And then when you're actually leaving, you never think to look there first.
You forget. You're like, where's my pair of Adidas? You can't find them.
Yep. All right. What about you, Chris? What's your favorite way to take a break?
Well, I mean, anything I can do to allow my brain to flow into something completely different. So, I mean, sometimes that's a walk, sometimes it's playing piano. Just like having time where you're bored actually is so important. Because I think that the problem with like all the screens and the news and all the stuff is like it's really easy to never be bored. Like you can always be constantly stressed out or entertained, like all the time. Like it's not that hard. Whereas being bored is actually kind of a challenge now. So I think forcing yourself to be bored for a little bit is like, that's like a treat. And that's what I aim to do, is try to find a little bit of boredom.
That's really clever. I know it's amazing how easy it is to just be constantly stimulated. And I actually, I thought this comparison was interesting the other day, is that, you know how a lot of people will talk about how when you think you're hungry, you're probably actually just thirsty a lot of the times. Like try drinking a glass of water and see if you're still hungry. Because a lot of the time when you're dehydrated, your body will just react with hunger and it'll get water from the food. And I think it can be the same with attention span, where we're craving that kind of constant stimulation and we crave it more and more and more and more, when in reality, we just need to like meditate for 5 minutes and just kind of chill.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think it's like finding ways to like completely destimulate yourself, like how to unplug. So I think like going out, like maybe in nature, like no headphones, no sounds that the car is driving by, and just sitting out there and listening is like super healthy. Because like you forget how much is going on in your life when you're in your house. Like you can hear the hum of your computer and you don't realize it until you go out somewhere really quiet and everything sounds dead quiet all of a sudden.
Yeah, I've got to say, y'all know I love knock knock journals. This is one that I have right now. And the whole journal is just, I need to unplug, with quotes about how, you know, like the one I just flipped to is perhaps the truth depends on a walk around the lake from Wallace Stevens. And just kind of that like, oh yeah, just like take a chill pill. You don't need to be processing new information and stimuli and videos and concepts every second of every day.
Yeah, there's some like Mozart quote that's like, there's nothing more magical than an evening walk after a nice meal or something like that.
That is so true, though. Like that is something to say about, I think, getting out of your head and your little wherever you're quarantining, like trying to find a way to escape it safely.
Yeah, one time, and this was pre-COVID, and I'm sure post-COVID we'll do it again. Sarah, my wife Sarah, not this Sarah, different Sarah. Too many Sarahs. We went to a hotel for a weekend, and we didn't bring our phones or any technology at all. We brought nothing that required electrons to function. And it was incredible. We just had no access. It was like we went back to the 50s. Like if someone wanted to get a hold of us, they'd have to call the hotel and ask what room we were in, and they'd have to buzz our room. And that was awesome. And I'm definitely gonna do that again. Where it's just like, don't even bring, because it's like there's a book called Willpower Doesn't Work, which is a really good book. And like the whole point of that book is like, if you don't want to eat candy, then don't have candy in your house. Like he's like, I know that sounds super simple, but your willpower will not keep you from eating candy. But not having candy in your house will certainly keep you from eating candy. So same way as like, if I don't want to use my phone, go somewhere else. And in COVID world, maybe that's a secluded log cabin in an Airbnb for a weekend or something where it's COVID safe, and just don't bring any technology at all. Because sometimes the longer term breaks are really good for your brain too, to take a few nights off and not have any technology at all. I guess you could also, if you have any neighbors you trust, you could also give all your technology to your neighbor and be like, do not give me these back under any circumstances until Sunday night. And I do not want to see these. Do not give them to me. Like someone you trust, so just give them to them.
I feel
But just not having technology.
I feel like the giving it to the neighbor would end up like that scene from The Lion King where Timon's like, hold me back, let me at him. Okay, go for it. And Timon's like, no, you gotta hold me back. Like, I feel like it would just create a technology version of that cycle.
Oh yeah, for sure. You'd be like, hey neighbor, I brought you some muffins. And they're like, okay, cool. Or like, can I have my phone back? And you're like, no, you told me not to. You're like, okay, well, I'm about to bake some brownies. I'll bring you some brownies and then we'll see how you feel after that. So like, okay, I made some brownies. How are you feeling about giving my phone?
Oh, I was gonna make you cake, but I forgot the recipe on my phone. That's so weird.
The recipe on my phone. Yeah.
It's like you gave this phone to me 2 hours ago.
Like, bro, you have literally made like 4 different type of baked goods in the last 2 hours. I'm not giving you your phone back.
Do you want a cake or not?
Do you want a cake or not? Give me my phone.
Oh my goodness. That'd be
You're
so
just
funny.
like, you're like, give me my phone.
You're like, dude, I need the cake.
Just start
Like, you need the cake?
little.
Yeah, you start like twitching and then you just combust. You just explode.
Yeah, I think the more time you can spend away from, that was so cool too, because like we just knew, I think I know what it feels like to live in like Alaska or something, because we just didn't know what was going on at all. Like it was crazy. It was like we lived under a rock. It was awesome. I've only done that a couple times in the last couple of years. I think I've done that like once a year for the last few years, where I take at least 2 days with no technology at all. But that is a good practice.
On that happy note, I know we got to get going pretty quick. Does anyone have any final words for our audience?
How do you take your best breaks?
Yeah.
Comment below in the comment section what you find most helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. We would love to hear from you, and we will see you on time next week.